Do you have a dead parallel miner X11 breakout board? Are you also using Dell server power supplies? Before you chuck your dollars into the bin, I finally have a workaround solution to get this working again. Come along and let me show you how. What is up everyone, and welcome back to my channel for yet another repair tutorial. If you haven't been here already, my name is Jacques, and as you know, the parallel miner X11 breakout boards are a very popular choice amongst miners as well as hobby enthusiasts. The X11 breakout board, when paired with a server power supply unit, is an economical solution to ATX power supply units as they are way cheaper to acquire, but they also have their fair share of failures, and it causes a lot of frustration, especially when reliability is of the utmost importance and all of a sudden you have to deal with a broken breakout board and equipment that's offline, and all of this usually happens when you're not near your equipment or you're not home. Does this sound familiar? In a previous video I demonstrated how we can fix these breakout boards primarily when used with a wide variety of HP server power supplies. Initially I thought that it would also work for the Dell server power supply, but it turned out not to be accurate in some cases. If you would like to see that video, then scan this QR code and I'll also add a link in the video description below. So I did some research and finally came up with a solution when using Dell server power supplies. But before I show you just how easy it is to repair these breakout boards, let's quickly have a look at what actually fails. The X11 breakout board has a control circuit on it that is used to control the server power supply, basically telling it when to switch on and off. Sometimes it fails in strange ways, where it might still switch on sometimes and then the next time it wouldn't. There are a few components that make up the control circuit, and it is usually this transistor that fails. It is possible to replace it, but these components are very tiny and it might be a real challenge even for a seasoned electronics repair technician or an electronics enthusiast. When looking at the server power supply, it also has these small tracks on the power slot that have different functions, such as the 12V standby, SDA, remote sense, power supply key, and so on. These larger tracks are the actual 12V positive and ground pins that power your devices through the X11 breakout board's edge connector. If we look at the pinouts on the power slot of the Dell PSU I'm using, we are only interested in pin 29, the power supply on, and pin 30, the power supply kill. These are the pins that we will be using to bypass the control circuit of the X11 breakout board and get it working again. Since these pins are on the bottom of the edge connector, it's a bit more challenging as the bottom of the breakout board has an acrylic paddock protecting the pins to avoid short circuits, but it's still pretty easy. Let's look at the process of doing the actual repair on the breakout board itself. When we look at the X11 breakout board from this angle, you can see the repair that I did here between pin 1 and pin 4 when we were using the HP power supply. Now, since we are only interested in the bottom of the Dell power supply, we will not be using the top of the edge connector but rather the bottom. So if we look at this angle, you can see that the top of the edge connector is going that side on the PC board and the bottom is actually these ones on the left. So what we have to do is to remove this acrylic panel on the back of the X11 breakout board to give us access to the pins so that we can do the soldering work at the bottom of the acrylic panel. So now to remove the acrylic panel, you can see it's got these 4 little plastic pins that we have to remove. So we'll take our trusty little Leatherman and we just pinch the pins a little bit so that it unclicks. So now we've got that side. Now we do the other side. Now that one is loose, and now we do the last one. Then the panel should just click off like this. Let's just turn it around so you can see it from this angle. So as mentioned, so when we look at the pinout, so we start from pin 1 up to pin 32. And then on the other side will be pin 33 up to 64. So we are interested in this pin 29 and pin 30. Those ones you can see that I soldered them together with this little bridge piece, and then we just take it over to pin 24, which is a ground connection. So if we would be counting the pins here, pin 24 will actually be on this part, which is the ground. So basically it's just pin 29 and pin 30 that we bypass that to ground, and that will then enable the control circuit, or actually bypass the control circuit, and have the X11 breakout board switched on constantly. So no matter if you would be pressing the power on and off button, this thing will always remain on. So if you would like to switch this thing on and off, then you can just turn it on and off by the socket outlet. This is a very quick and easy fix, and it saves you a lot of dollars than going out and buy a new breakout board. As you can see, it's basically just removing the acrylic panel, soldering in a small piece of wire just to bypass the control circuit, and there you go. Your breakout board is working again. You won't be able to switch it on and off with a switch, but that doesn't matter because we are running our rigs all the time in any case. As mentioned, if you want to turn it on and off, then just switch the socket outlet on and off on the server power supply. Now, just to make sure that we don't have any short circuits when you put this thing back in operation, we'll just be putting back the acrylic panel. So basically you just line up the panel with the 4 pins on the 4 holes. You just give it a nice push. As you can hear, it just clicked into place, and there you go. The contacts are all insulated from the surface below. There won't be any shorts, and it will be working just fine. So now it's time to quickly test this thing. So we take our Dell Server power supply, we just click in the breakout board into the edge connector. As you can see, it's off. Now we will be attaching the power cord. There you can see now that it's switched on. Even if we press the on and off button, it doesn't do anything, it just stays on, and that's exactly what we want. If we want to power it down, we just pull out the cable from the PSU. If we want to power it back on again, we just push it back in again. This I deem a successful repair. We have now successfully bypassed the control circuit. We don't have to go out and spend more money, buy more breakout boards, which will inevitably fail again in the future. We can reuse these and keep our mining rigs running 24/7. I hope you found this tutorial was helpful to those of you who are looking for a repair solution to reuse your faulty X11 breakout boards. Now you have a repair solution at your disposal, whether you use the Dell or the HP server power supply. Just ensure that you use the correct PSU for each repair method, as you cannot mix them because each of the small tracks on the edge connector has different functions between the Dell and the HP. If you like this video, then please leave a like and let me know in the comments which server power supply you prefer using, the Dell or the HP. If you didn't like this video, then please hit that dislike button twice. And in case you missed the repair tutorial for this breakout board when using a HP server power supply, then remember to scan the QR code and watch this video next. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I will see you in the next video.